All right, so good day, everyone. So in this segment, we're going to be looking at the official IDE for Android app development, which is called Android Studio. Now, Android Studio is built by Google, right? But in partnership or in collaboration with JetBrains, right? So JetBrains is the company behind IntelliJ, Kotlin. JetBrains actually created Kotlin, the Kotlin programming language. PyCharm and other IDEs as well. So Google actually partnered with them to build a an IDE specifically for Android development, right? Now, before that happened, the the initial IDE used for Android app development was called Eclipse, the Eclipse IDE. Now, Eclipse was popular and open source, but it had issues like slow performance, complex setup, poor integration with Gradle, and other. So that necessitated the move from Eclipse to a new IDE, which we have today as Android Studio. So, um, so that's it. So to download Android Studio, all you need to do is go to developer.android.com/studio. So it takes you to this landing page, and then you can download the latest version. So usually you have the latest version on this landing page. So at present, the the current or the latest version of Android Studio is the Android Studio now. Wow, right. Now, one thing about Android Studio is Google actually developed, and I think that started in 2020. Google switched to a new versioning system based on the IntelliJ IDE platform. Yeah, right. So that's each release gets an animal code name, right? Which actually follows the alphabetical order, right? That's A to Z. So for example, now this in this on this page we have all of the different Android Studio releases. So the first one is Arctic Force, that's A. Then the next one is Android Studio Bumblebee, that's B. Android Studio Chipmunk, that's C, letter C. Android Studio Dolphin, D. Android Studio Electric Eel. So the current version, or the latest version is Android Studio N, which is Nawal, right? So, but personally, I downloaded this Nawal, and I'm still, that's for me personally. I kind of, I I was not really inclined to this particular version. So I had to go back to Android Studio Meerkat. So you can download any version from version A to version N, right? So they are all here. All you need to do is to check for the previous versions. You go to developer.android.com/studio /releases /past releases. Then you have um, access to all the different versions, right? So maybe in another video, I'm going to talk about the peculiarities of this latest Android version. So I think one of the peculiarities, the fact that it has AI integrated into it, right? That's Google Gemini. You can see it here. So you can actually use Google Gemini to refactor your code, right, and make changes to your code. Right? More like what Copilot does in what's it called, Visual Studio Code. So you have the same feature here, and other features as well, such as SD. Um, okay, let me see. I think there's a part of this Android Studio latest release that where you can carry out, you can build VRO applications or 3D applications. So, but I don't think that's included here. Okay, but that's just that about that. I think that will be done in a separate video. But in this video, we are going to make use of the Android Studio Meerkat, right? So I've downloaded it. All you need to do is go to this Meerkat, and so these are the features of Meerkat. Okay. So so this gives you the information about the different versions. But if you want to download previous version, if you want to download the current version, just go to developer.android.com/studio. That you will now be given the latest version to download. But to download the previous versions, you go to developer.android.com/studio/archive, and then I agree to terms. Then you have all the previous versions. Everything is available here, including the current one. So we are going to be using the Meerkat, right? So you can just pick any one here. So I guess this is the one I downloaded. So you click on this particular link, or the link of the particular version you want to download, and choose your. I'm using Windows, so I select Windows. And once you click on it, it starts downloading. Okay, so it's downloading. Now I already have this, so I don't have to download again. So I just cancel it, and I think it's in my downloads folder. So I go to downloads. Yeah, I already have it here. Okay, I'm sharing the other download. Okay, so this is it. Android Studio 2024. That's the Android Studio Meerkat. So click on install, and then it starts installing. It starts the installation process and launches the installation wizard. Okay, so all you need to do is click on next. Um, so the components are going to be installed alongside Android Studio. So we have the Android virtual device. Now, the virtual device, we are going to talk about that later, but it's just an Android operating system that is running in your machine, your PC, whether it's Mac OS or Windows. So it's actually a virtual operating system, right, that you can use to test applications. So we're going to do that. And you click on next, you just click on install. So the installation process starts, and then good to go. So I'm just going to pause this recording to save time, right? All right, our installation is complete. So click on next and then finish. So it will automatically launch the application. Let's minimize this. So while we're waiting for the application to come up, um, can just take a look at all of this information here. Okay, so um, still downloading components, all that. So the very first thing it's going to do, I guess this is peculiar to my own um, download or my own installation, right? Now, the very first thing it's going to do is to download. Now it's automatic. It's going to download the Android SDK. Right now, in this case, because of my previous setting, is actually looking for an existing SDK, which it will not. If you are downloading for the first time, you might not have this, right? It's going to download automatically. So the reason why we're having this is because it's based on my previous session, my previous setting with the previous installations. So you don't have to worry about that. So I, so this is the Android is actually giving me an option to download the Android SDK. Right now, what does the Android SDK do? It essentially helps us to build and test our application. Right, build and test our application on various devices. So it manages the entire build, compilation, and testing process uh, of building an application. So all I need to do is click on next, and so it's telling us that in the course of this installation, we're going to have it's going to download the Android emulator, the Android SDK build tools, 35 and 36. So just click on next. You don't have to bother about all of this. Click on next. So accept, finish. So it's actually downloading. So let me quickly pause this recording while we wait for this stuff to be done. All right, so we are done with our installation. So the emulator is ready, and the SDK, Android SDK tools are ready and downloaded. So click on finish, and then so it um, takes us to this window where we can start a new project, open an existing project, or clone a repository from GitHub. Right now, we can also, for those that you make use of Flutter, I mean Flutter developers, you can download the Flutter plugin here, and you can start a Flutter project inside Android Studio. So all you need to do is type Flutter, come to plugin and type Flutter. This is for Flutter developers only. Now, if you're not a Flutter developer, you don't have to worry about this. It's not a basic requirement for Android Studio to work. It's just a plugin that helps you to create Flutter applications using Android Studio. So you install the plugin, and then once the plugin is installed, so over here we'll have there'll be an option to create a Flutter project. So the option is currently not being displayed because we are yet to download or install the plugin, right? So that's just an aside. Now this is the only plugin you did that's for Flutter. All other plugins are not um, required, right? All you need is this Flutter plugin to start a Flutter project. So, so we are going to be exploring Android Studio in the next video, but I can just do a short demo here. So to start a new project, all you need to do is click on project. We can just click on select. Okay, let's select an empty activity. So one thing about Android Studio is that you can use it to build applications for your mobile phones and tablets, for Wear OS, that's the watch, Android watch, smartwatches rather, which we are going to do maybe once we are done with the conventional application for phone and tablet. We are going to look at how to develop um, applications for Android watches. Therefore, TV, that's Android televisions, and Android automotive, right? So basically, this is what we are going to be doing: Android phones and tablets, Android watches, and Android TV. So we're going to uh, build applications for the three of them, right? So okay, so for now we'll just select phone and tablet, click on empty activity, um, and then next. So then we specify a name for application. So let's just call this test application. Okay, so the package name, just you can see is automatically is auto filled, so leave it that way. And then save location. So I want this project to be on the desktop so that I can have easy access to. So all I need to do is go to desktop and select. So this is desktop. Okay, so that's it. Now minimum SDK. We are going to look at all of this: minimum SDK, API level, all of those stuff will be explained in the. But let's just leave it at API 24. That's Android 7. That's where we are looking at. A minimum SDK has to do with the threshold, as in the cutoff Android version, right? So what we are saying is this application will run on Android 7 and as in from Android 7 upwards, right? So build.com, now there are two options. There is the Groovy DSL and then Kotlin DSL. We're going to explain that in the next video. So, but for now, let's just select the Kotlin DSL. They are they are not they are a bit distinct, right? But whichever one you choose, it will still serve the purpose well, right? But Kotlin DSL is highly recommended. So you click on finish generating sources, and okay, so this is the window. This is the window for our project. Uh, we can just click on that now. So this is our project, and in the next video we are going to do a very comprehensive. We're going to take a very comprehensive look at all of this. We'll look at the Android Studio build structure, right? We'll look at all of this project, all of these files, and their, in fact, the entire Android Studio interface, user interface. We're going to look at all of these icons and what they stands for, all of these options, right? And then the build structure for Android. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.